Hear me now.
Yes.
Yes. And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station KCAA. AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5. Oh, sorry, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Spreaker, Tiki Live, Rumble, and about 28 more places, but who's counting? And I'm so grateful that you're here with me. I apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. Don't know if Mercury is in retrograde, but everything was fine yesterday. And then Julie checked in early, which was wonderful, and Donna as well. And then I lost my connection. So it is, I always say that the best thing about technology is when it works, and the worst thing about technology is when it doesn't. But it is exercising my ability to be adaptable and flexible. And I'm just so grateful that you've all tuned in. It is the second Wednesday of the month, and I am so delighted to welcome back my fabulous dream expert. She's my staff dream expert, Julie Loar. She is, let me pull you up. She's a highly awarded author of 8 books and dozens of articles. She's an expert in symbolism and has worked with dreams, including interpreting dreams live on national radio for decades. Her latest book, Symbol and Synchronicity, Learning the Soul's Language in Dreams and Waking Life, which has won 5 international literary awards, is a practical and comprehensive guide to working with dreams and learning their language. Please welcome to the studio, Julie Loar. Let's see if I can access the applause from my phone. Here we go. And welcome to you, Julie. And we have, as you see below, we have a very special volunteer, Donna Lawrence, a good friend of mine, past client turned friend, who has volunteered to be analyzed her dream analysis this morning. And I'm so delighted to have you. Welcome to the studio, Donna.
Thank you so much.
And there's your applause. So normally we start with having breakfast together, called taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So I want to get to the dream analysis, but we got to do some gratitude. So one specific gratitude each. Then we'll do the bottom of the bun, which is appreciation, one thing you appreciate about yourself, and then we'll get right into the dreams. Okay? So I'm grateful that there's more than one way to get into my studio, and that I finally got the everything figured out here on my phone. I'm very grateful. All right. And what are you grateful for, Julie?
I would say that it's a lesson about how to navigate a waking nightmare, and that we did it successfully.
Thank you, Julie. I'll take that credit. And then, Donna, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my father being willing to move from Missouri to Bakersfield, California, and tells me every day that he feels like he died and went to heaven.
Oh, what a beautiful gratitude. I was going to ask you about that yesterday when you said you were going to Bakersfield. I thought your dad was in Missouri. He's not in misery anymore.
He's not in misery anymore.
Oh, right. And then the reason why I asked for appreciation is a lot of us are not strong in our muscle of self-approval. So pick one thing about yourself that you like, and then that way we instead of going to bed with all the things that we're having a nightmare about, what we didn't get done, who did who wrong, and all the things we have to do tomorrow, which leads to no sleep. We're thinking about one thing that we appreciate about ourselves. So I appreciate my sense of humor, that no matter what, I'm going to find something to laugh about because laughter is my favorite sound on the planet. Donna, what do you appreciate about yourself?
I appreciate my recent willingness to been in a lot of stressful situations with the family. And I appreciate that I'm willing to take a step back and try to look at what I've done to contribute to the situation.
Beautiful.
I love both of those. Those are fabulous. I was going to say what I appreciate about myself, which is something I've had to learn, sounds like you too, Donna, is my willingness to learn and to be coached and to be taught to grow and get better.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. So there's your gratitude sandwich, a shortened version because of the topic for today. I see eyeballs rolling in. That means you're streaming live. Feel free to put your gratitudes in the comment section and to do it for 30 consecutive days. That is the Happy 88 challenge. If you can do it for 30 days, I promise you're going to sandwich an amazing day in between, because it's impossible to have a bad day when you start with gratitude and with appreciation. And it's a money back guarantee, even though you're not paying me anything. All right. So here we go. I just love these once a month shows where we get to talk about something that I did not actually believe in, but having Julie on as a guest, as a gift from your publisher, Karen Stuth of Satyama Publishing. And she said, I have a guest and I want to sponsor the show and have her on. And she's a dream expert. And I'm like, when people ask me all the time, what is the significance of dreams? I say none, because you got to be in the present moment and you got to just live your life in the present. And, you know, what happens in dream state, not really important. And I rarely admit I'm wrong. No, I'm kidding. I am happy to admit when I'm wrong, because I can't learn anything if I'm always right. And that was a lesson, an active lesson, where I was, interestingly enough, as soon as I said, okay, I will consider that dreams have significance, guess what? I started dreaming. I think I broke a probably 10-year no dream cycle. And it was as if I needed to be available and open to the significance of dreams in order to begin to have dreams. And let me, why don't you, Julie, give Donna sort of that general what dreams mean for anybody who's tuned in who has not heard Julie before, that what kinds of dreams people actually have and general significance.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Marissa. Well, I wanted to start with just because you reminded me this morning, and I've been thinking about it because of what's been happening in my own life recently with dreams. But I think that just as you were saying, Dr. Marissa, that you didn't think dreams had any significance because you were focused on waking life and the present moment. But our psyche, our whole consciousness, and the part of us that lives in eternity is so much more. And when we don't allow for the significance of dreams, it's almost like we have a limb that's amputated, or that we're not using everything that we have, or something that's atrophied, an entire capacity of ours that's atrophied, because in the West, we have only valued the waking state instead of what happens 24 hours a day and in eternity. And so I like to think of that other part of our psyche like the genie in Aladdin's lamp, that we have this capacity and this assistant, this personal guide that's tailored just for us, specifically for us. But if we have a magic lamp on the shelf and we never use it, or we never ask about it or rub it and ask a question, then all the guidance and wisdom that's available just for us never gets accessed. And so just as you said, Marissa, you have to be open, you have to be willing, and we have to be willing to receive feedback, which is at the center or heart of coaching, right? Whether we're playing an instrument or a sport, if we have a good coach and they give us feedback and input and we don't listen, we never get better. So, that's kind of my I don't know what you would call it, sermon on being open to dreams. So dreams, Donna, speak in the language of symbols, as do waking synchronicities. And I think this morning's experience with the technology is significant. And it also has to do with, well, do we panic? Do we say, oh my gosh, we can't do it? Or do we just get centered and know there's got to be an answer for this? I also kind of compare dreams to rumble strips on the highway, where if you're kind of going off track, a dream can come. That's, in a sense, its function to give us feedback, to say, hey, you did a really great job yesterday. Or maybe the dream is mirroring something where we made a poor choice or we could have done something different. So dreams speak in the language of symbols. And an example before, as Dr. Marissa jokingly called you a victim, but hooray for your willingness to be open. Recently, I've been going through a growth process of trying to be more mindful of what I take on. I have a pattern in my life of always saying yes and taking on too much until does that sound familiar? That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. So there's a synchronicity too. And so it's just in my nature to want to help. So recently, I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed by things I've agreed to. And so I had a couple of dreams, the first of which I was on a train going to a military training. And we were coming back. We'd been in this advanced military training in the dream. And I get back and I realize I have been carrying the baggage for two other women on the train. And at the end of the dream, I offloaded it and I gave it back to the family. No mystery what that dream was about. And it was kind of saying, yes, you're right. And then a couple days later, I had a dream where I was in an airport, JFK in New York, on my way. And I had to go down this steep staircase and I lost my carry-on. And in the dream, my carry-on bag had my passport, my wallet, my keys, my phone, everything that represented my identity. And so I had to go and search. So those were two powerful dreams I had recently that I think are illustrative. Is that how you say that word?
For sure.
Of how to work. Okay, so that's probably way too much talking. But,
gives you it's good. It sets a frame so Donna understands. What she's not. There's actually a methodology to this. Is basically what I want her to know. So go ahead, Donna. Dream a little dream with us. So just history-wise, do you have a lot of dreams, recurring dreams?
I dream a lot. And sometimes when I dream, I know what's going on. Like I have been woken up out of a dream thinking that something's going on with a family member. And I called and indeed something is happening to them. With my grandmother and my mother, both when they were in their, like going to the hospital and they were going to pass, like within a day or so. But I knew something wasn't right with them. And I woke up. I've had dreams where I dreamt that certain things were in certain places and then I walk and go in and they're right there. So I've always had dreams. I used to get a book about dreams and trying to interpret them, but recently when I spoke to you yesterday and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can remember any of my dreams. My memory is so bad. And so, but I did recently have a dream. My mother passed in 1990 and I had the first time had her in one of my dreams. So that was kind of amazing. But I called my fiance and I was like, hey, do you remember that dream I told you about it? He was like, "Oh, I don't remember that." So I was hoping that I had a dream last night, and I did. So I don't know what it means, but I figure I'll give it a shot and see. So with that, it was just a dream. I was like caught up in a parking lot. I couldn't get out the parking lot. I was driving around and trying to put it together. It seemed like I couldn't get out the gate. And so I was in this dilemma because I needed to go back in to get my card processed. And the only way is to go against traffic going back up the ramp. And then the people are like, no, you got to back out and come back through the entrance. And I'm like, I can't do that. People are in my way. And so it was like this frustration just kept playing and playing and playing. And so eventually I did go up the ramp against traffic and got to the top. And the woman was like really frustrated with me. And she was just like, you're making this really difficult. You could have done what I asked. And so then she said, here's a ticket. Use this ticket to get out. And I was like stressing out, like, wait a minute, I can't use that ticket because that's not the right time. And I'm going to be gypping somebody. I should be paying the full time for the parking, that I was there. And this is going to let me go in and it's not going to even charge me because there's like a, 5-minute grace period or something. And so I was just doing that. And finally I was like, okay, just use the darn ticket. And so, so I used the ticket, got out, and then I'm driving and I'm with some people, some women that I'm not real familiar with. I know them through association. And they were like, hey, we have to stop. There's the LA River right here. And it was a beautiful scene. It didn't look like any of the LA River scenes that I'm familiar with. But we pulled over and they're like, come on, let's walk, in the river. And I'm like, no, I mean, are there cautious signs out there telling us that it's clean? This river could be kind of contaminated with people or I don't know what, And so that's when I woke up. But it just seems like I always get kind of stuck in these dreams on rules and regulations. I don't know. So I don't know what the interpretation is, but that's my dream last night.
Wow. That's like a very detailed dream. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what Julie says about this. Go for it, Julie. Julie?
Well, you about that being who you are. You also mentioned something about things you've been through. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Things that you've gone through with your family. So a couple of your symbols in the dreams are textbooks. Number one, a car or a vehicle is always a symbol of us or our physical body, or where are we trying to get to in life? What's the path and what's the destination? And so that's a common symbol, where houses are a symbol of our mind usually. So you're in a parking lot, driving around, not sure how to get out. So that's saying, and by the way, I also didn't mention that dreams almost always relate to what's happening in our life right now, as well as an ongoing pattern that we're trying to recover from or change. So you, represented by you in the car, are in a parking lot trying to get out. And you're getting through a ramp, you don't have the right ticket, you're going against the traffic. And finally, then, like you say, I love that you said rules and regulations. So there's something in your life where you may feel you're butting up against an obstacle that has to do with something that's either self-limiting or somebody from in your life or your circumstances are limiting you from going forward in the way that you want to go forward. You finally get up the ramp against the traffic and she gives you a ticket, but then you doubt yourself and you say, well, I'm not paying the whole thing. I really need something else, something that seems fair to me and everybody else. But you get out, you use the ticket, which I think is a reflection that you're moving in the right direction against the obstacles in your life. But then you're with women you don't know very well, which may mean you're in unfamiliar territory with your own behavior and choices in life. You're now on a highway, headed somewhere, but it's also unfamiliar. And so at the end you comment, and that may be your dream title, Rules and Regulations. The end of it is, what is it that's holding you back from something you want to do in your life right now. And is it real or is it artificial? Is it something, a limit, some rule you're putting on yourself that doesn't really mean anything? Marissa, you want to jump in there?
That sounds exactly as I was thinking. I'm a very beginning student of all of this as I watch Julie work. But, and knowing I do have the privilege of knowing some of Donna's life. So I would say you probably hit at a 88%, if not more, with your analysis right there. So
I think about 100.
And I don't know how much or little you want to reveal yourself, Donna, about what's going on. You can sort of hit what is right and give as much or as little example as you would like, because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do that for you. But I think it's really interesting. Julie's done probably four of these on my show, and every single time it's like it's right on. So what parts would you say, what at least what percentage would you say is pretty accurate, and what was going through your head as she was speaking?
Well, I think, like I said, about 100%. I just didn't make that connection right away how she did. I was just thinking that I was just stuck with rules because I used to be an auditor. That's how I started my career in finance and stuff. And so rules and regulations always kind of ruled my world. So that's where I kind of was thinking it. But to take it into my life, there are different things that are going on in my life and changes that I am making. And I do have the tendency of kind of letting the like if it's a partner, kind of dominate the terrain of where we're going. And often what has happened is that I get resentful, because I get to the end, realize it's not where I wanted, and I'm frustrated. And then, it's really, more challenging. Because they're like, you've been fine all along. I didn't know it was so important to you. Why didn't you do something different? And so just trying to find that voice and confidence in myself to just go ahead and move forward. And there's always like a scary thing because you're like, okay, if I do that, what's going to do to our relationship? And usually it doesn't do anything. It just makes it better. You're more happy. He's happy, and I think that's, but it's sometimes a challenge for me. And so I'm trying to work on that.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Donna, let me back up for a second. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering why I have so many people in my studio this morning, it's because it's the second Wednesday of the month. One of my favorite shows is Dream Interpretation with Julie Loar, my staff dream expert. And I bring in people who want to have their dreams analyzed. And this morning, we're just delighted to have one of my longtime clients / turned into Donna Lawrence, who just shared her dream. And now we're going through the analysis. You can rewind on YouTube to start at the beginning so you can hear the details of the dream and the analysis. I will say that I was struck, Julie, by a couple things you said. One is that when you're in your car, usually you're talking about yourself, because a lot of people have driving dreams, and that's interesting. Two is, Donna, when you said the reaction, instead of, the woman's like pissed at you, right? And then says, I told you, and then here's the ticket. And instead of, as you said, going, I didn't know, or it wasn't clear, you immediately went to, not only did I do something wrong, but I also now, I'm not even going to accept the solution. I'm going to beat myself up on, I'm not being fair to other people. And that's a very interesting theme, because you're not alone. A lot of people have this this massive amount of everybody else's stuff, everybody else's desires, everybody else's rules matter more than mine. Like your opinion matters more than mine. Your decisions matter more than mine. I liken it to, instead of saying, this is what I'd like for dinner, like when we say, we're going out for dinner, what would you like? I have no problems to a fault saying, this is where I want to go. But for many of my coaching clients, it's almost always, what would you like? Right. And then as soon as someone says, this is what I would like, you were hoping that they would say, well, it's your turn. What would you like? Or, I chose last time, but they never do. And I'm one of those people. I'm like, if you don't go where I want to go, I'll say, have a good time. Because I'll go, this is why I'm happily single, as you can, so don't laugh too hard, Donna. So I know that is definitely one of those growth points. And we talked about 3 kinds of dreams, feedback dreams, which I think this is, life lesson dreams, which I also think it is, and then a attaboy dream, which also is, because at one point you do, take, this is, it's okay for me to do this, right? And why not? And so, but it took a little bit of a battle with yourself to be able to do that. And I think that's the life lesson, is it's never too late to advocate for yourself. It's never too late to say, wait a minute, I'm not going to wait for someone to ask me where I want to go for dinner. I'm going to work on my own muscle of, you know what, this is what I would like. And hit head on that fear of upsetting the apple cart. Because if you upset the apple cart, then you upset the apple cart. And it all change what we do to ourselves when we're in this place of putting everybody in front of us, is we think that we go to MSU University, make shiitake up university. And we think that if we actually say what we want, we're going to upset the apple cart and there's going to be no more apples in the cart. And that's the extreme bullshitaki that, we need to drop out of MSU University, because it's not true. You matter. Your desires matter just as much as other people's desires. But that is such a challenging change to make when you've spent your entire life trying to be good and fair and kind, and you have a habit of allowing other people to make decisions for you. To buck up against that is a lot of traffic, a lot of going up against traffic, a lot of cars in the way, and a lot of tickets to have to take to do that. So I applaud you in getting you absolutely went to where I hoped you would go, which took a lot of courage on the air in front of thousands that are going to...
I didn't know I was going to go there. I honestly didn't.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you were going to say I'm a control freak or something.
No,
I don't know.
Not at all. Not at all, which is really interesting, because you are like so far from a control freak. Like you did do auditing, which sounds like control. It is exactness, and you had to do that. You were rewarded for that. But when it comes to your personal life, and I think you were better in your professional life in being able to say, no, that's kind of the way it is, but it is definitely more challenging. And I think this is true of all strong women that are in leadership roles in the workplace. And I've talked too much. Sorry, Julie.
I wanted to add to what you said, Marissa. Thank you for sharing what you said. 2 things I want to say, and I want to make sure I don't forget that underneath, I believe anyway, and of course I could be projecting my own life experience, but I don't think so. underneath that concern for others, underneath that always allowing somebody else to be first, I believe is a fear that if we don't do that, somehow we won't be loved, or we'll lose the love or the regard of the people we're in relationship or whatever it may be. So to take those steps of standing up for ourselves or really declaring what it is we want and need takes an enormous amount of courage to say, I'm going to stand in this. And it isn't just about being willful or wanting our own needs before anyone else. Sometimes it's been my journey in life to really understand what I do need and what I do want in relationships. The other thing that I wanted to say, and again, hooray for you, and that's my experience for working with dreams in my own life and everyone else's, sometimes it's a surprise what we get when we go there. And that it is important, as I said, that dreams often are a reflection on something that may have just happened yesterday, but often what happened yesterday is the revelation of a pattern that we have done in our whole life, a series of choices we've made, a series of how we have repeatedly allowed a dynamic to occur in a relationship, in our families. And so, as I said, just like the rumble strips or looking in the mirror, which dreams are, and seeing we've got spinach on our teeth, it's an opportunity, if we're committed to a path of growth and improvement. As I said, it's a form of guidance that's tailored just for us. And that's a kind of dream. And as Marissa knows, when I wrote this last book, which I didn't intend to write, it kind of was written through me, and I was given a 7-step process to work with dreams and an idea to keep a dream journal. And even if you only remember one thing in the morning, what's interesting, just like you were saying, Donna, you couldn't remember when you had the dream of your mother. But if you'd even written down that morning, date, time, my mother appeared in a dream, you could go back and reflect on what else was happening in your life right at that time. And what was your mother coming to you to say? I love you. I'm proud of you. I miss you. I'm still here. And so that is also, in addition to just looking at the message, the life journey and the chronicling of dreams, just like a journal of waking life, can offer deep revelations for our process and what we're learning. So I've been doing this a long time and working with people who have, but I have myself learned the power of it. But as I also like to say, you don't get a garden by looking out your kitchen window and saying, gee, wouldn't it be nice to have a garden out there? Or get physically fit by never going to the gym or walking. So a commitment is required, even if it's small. It doesn't have to be a great big thing, but even a small note in the morning. It's just like Dr. Marissa's gratitude sandwich, which I so love. Begin the day with gratitude, end it with appreciation. And if we add one more thing, even 10 minutes to reflect on a dream, that enhances everything in our life in a really dramatic way.
Absolutely. Very well said, Julie. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what we're talking about, it's Dream a Little Dream with Us. And this is Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, taking a little station break. We're not going to go to commercial, but I do want to do a quick shout out to 2 of my show sponsors because I can. And I want to, if you would like to be a show sponsor of this show about hope and happiness, please do contact me at drmarissa.life for very affordable rates. And the 2 places right now that are having an amazing, Saban Theater is back with amazing artists. So you'll want to go to where the soul meets the heart, where the heart meets the soul. Just go to Saban Theater. I can't access it right now because I am on my phone, but this Saturday I'm going to see Judy Collins. Some of you, without dating myself, because I'm #ageless. Isn't it rich? Aren't we a pair? All right. Can you tell I'm a retired lounge lizard? Yeah, she's going to be on stage 8 p.m. I've given away Asian Oprah giveaway tickets. Congratulations to Sharon. And I will be there. Kenny Loggins is coming up, The Temptations, Gordon Lightfoot. So please do go get tickets at Saban Theater. Where music meets the soul.com. I got it. And then it is time for the Newport Beach Film Festival, the most diverse film festival I know on the planet. They have Irish films and Japanese films, and I'm one of the show sponsors now for the 5th consecutive year of the Chinese Spotlight film. So opening night is October 13th through October 20th. I'll be there on the red carpet. Last year I got to interview Tony Hawk. I got to do a piece in, piece out with Pierce Brosnan and his lovely wife on their film. And this year, I'm sure I'm going to get to meet some very cool people again, including you. If you get tickets there, I gave away 2 tickets to the Chinese Spotlight film. I have more. So the first person, go to drmarissa.life and put in their lion dance for the subject line, will win $200 tickets to the Pacific Showcase, where there's tons of food, libations, lion dances, and it's all free if you win the Asian Oprah giveaway tickets. So drmarissa.life, lion dance is the key word. I hope you join me in those amazing events, because life is way too short to sit and stream, binge, watch stuff on TV. There's my commercials for the shows. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for your eyeballs rolling in, knowing that you can always stream live every weekday morning at 8. We are talking about dreams, and Donna spoke about her dreams. I want to say that, Donna, you are very fortunate to have access because of your sensitivity. And I know in the old days, I hated people that said to me, "You're so sensitive. Why are you so sensitive?" And my guess is both of my guests today online, Julie and Donna, have been told that you're too sensitive, you take things too personally. And that's bullshit-talky, because sensitivity is 100% correlated with an access to inspiration, creativity, innovation. So screw. No, I mean, so thank you very much for the compliment of being sensitive. And your sensitivity, I believe, is allowing you access to knowing when something is up and wrong. And it is a little woo-woo. This whole topic is woo-woo. I'm a reluctant woo-woo, but it's a good woo-woo, because life is way more than what we can see here in our 5 senses. That the ability to have a dream, to access what's going on in the other world or about to happen, is so important. So I wanted you to sort of talk to Donna about her ability to pre-know when something's going on, what that means, and how she can enhance that, instead of, oh my God, what's going on?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when that came up before, then I forgot about it. And, back to, forgive me if I sound a little bit too much like quantum physics, but it's so important. And that's sort of the realm. What's happening in the world is quantum physics is coming into an intersection with metaphysics, and the language is almost similar. And in a sense, like I said, forgive me a bit, but this is really the realm in where it happens. There's something that some scientists refer to as the field. And the field, in a sense, is the larger awareness. Somebody could think of it or describe it even as the universe, which is consciousness itself. The physicist Erwin Schrödinger said once that the total number of minds in the universe is one. Now, we could do a whole show on that. But the idea is, once again, that we've learned to focus our awareness just on the narrow, self-conscious, waking awareness, and have kind of put the whole rest of our capacity on mute. Or like I said, it's atrophied. But in a sense, Donna, you, because of your sensitivity, because of capability that you have, all the rest of this is going on at the same time. And more we learn that what we call time and the material world are much more fluid and malleable than we have come to think of. And that, everybody knows that even though we think of the 3D world as very solid, and it seems that way, at the level of the atoms and protons, it's all energy. And therefore, it's all fluid. So you're able to access more of this field because of your sensitivity, because of your capacity. In some ways, it's similar to some people see more colors or more richness, and other people are color weak. Some people, like musicians, Marissa and I studied music for many years, and so there's a level of subtlety of what can be heard if you've spent many years studying music that most people don't. So it's a talent, it's a gift, it's a capability, and it, in my view, shouldn't be something to be afraid of, although often the messages do seem to come when there's something related to, like you said, your mother or your grandmother, you knew they were passing. Sometimes those attunements are more poignant, and we can't be busy all the time. I can't remember, recently I read how many hundreds of thousands of inputs our mind gives every day, things that we are that come at us. There's no way we could possibly do it. So part of it is learning to discern, what do I want to listen to? When do I want to listen to it? And just exactly like you asked last night for a dream, and then you got one, and you got a good one, a very significant. And so sometimes it is about asking. Aristotle was known for being famous for that everything is about asking the right question. We don't need to know the answer to everything. But when we have a talent or an ability that has been dormant, then learning to be of service to others in some way, or for our own growth.
That's
so
great.
Was that too much?
No, that was great. That was great. Good encouragement. Donna, did you, before we finish, did you have any other questions for Julie? Anything that's popped up in your head that you would like to ask?
Well, I think for me, I think this is really making me harness what I'm getting from my dreams. And you mentioned that you have recently written a 7-step book. And so I wanted to know a little bit more about that and how can I get it, because I think I need a guide to get there. But I just think this is right on, and it was perfect timing. So.
Well, thank you for asking that. And we'd be happy to send you a PDF, or I would be delighted to send you a signed copy as a thank you for being on the show.
Wow, what a beautiful morning.
If you get me your physical address, Donna, I will send you a signed copy. And you put yourself out there today, and we're very courageous, and we really appreciate it. So in brief, the 7-step process came in a dream. And so it's just a matter of, it's really very simple, about writing the dream down, giving it a title, giving it an image, getting everything down, identifying what the symbols are. And after that kind of 3D left brain part is done, then reflecting on what the symbols mean, just like we did today in the discussion. And you did the first part verbally. And then the last part is reflecting on, based on what I just learned, how can I change even just a little bit? How can I, because I thought, Marissa may disagree, but I thought the most important moment in that dream was when you said, darn it, I'm going to take the ticket and use it. You gave yourself permission to move forward. And so in the process, then it would be identifying even some tiny thing in your life. When did you not speak up? When did you keep quiet? When you really wanted to say something? Or what would some action represent where you honored and expressed love for yourself? And so in brief, that's it. But in the book, it goes through a lot of details. But it's the book I wish I would have had 50 years ago when I got started in this process.
Yeah.
It's just another award, Marissa. So it's now 6.
That's what. Oh,
great.
I was. You know, I
Congratulations.
kind of knew that when I read that bio. And did you hear me hesitate on the award?
Yes.
Because I had a feeling that there was more than the 5 awards. So congratulations. I can't access the applause right now on the phone,
No
but
worries.
get more applause for that. That's really wonderful. And yeah, Donna, see what happens when you agree to be a victim. I mean, a volunteer.
I know, a volunteer.
So anybody
I
who
had
is
no idea
listen,
that I would get this.
what?
This is amazing and so timely. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
for sure. And I absolutely agree with Julie that that was the most important part of the dream is you didn't do what you normally do, which would be, no, I can't take that ticket because it's unfair to other people. You said, I'm just going to take the ticket, you know, and as far as doing that last 7th step, I think if I can have the liberty, Polly, you're going to have to give me a text on timing because I can't access that the show clock. So I don't know if we're up against the end, but I'll let him text me on that. But I believe that one thing that was very important that you said is when you don't say what you want and you go along with what they want, it's you're mad, you're resentful, right? You may do it, but it's like that little kid that's driving in the car and the dad says sit down and the little kid's like no, and then sit down and the kid, no, and then finally 3rd time sit down and the kid sits down and he says, the kid goes, I may be sitting down on the outside, but I'm not sitting down on the inside. So your opportunity here is to have a discussion with someone in your life who you have allowed them to take the lead on almost everything and say, it's not about me. And you had mentioned that, thank you, Polly. You had mentioned that, he's the response has been, well, I didn't know that was important to you. You've never said that before. And that's a great, when we had that discussion, I learned something about myself in dreams today. And it's not that I've changed. It's that I've just been resentful, which is not good for either one of us when I don't speak up. And so instead of the contrast being, it didn't matter before and it matters now, which is not true, is it didn't matter. It did matter before, but I didn't feel loving enough of myself to express that. And not that I don't love you any less, but now I'm trying to just balance out self-love and other love. And when that would be step 7, correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, in improving that relationship so that it's not about, it didn't matter before and it matters now. I think there's a true growth curve and self-love to express. It's called, I call it acting on your own behalf.
Yes.
Acting on your own behalf. So we're going to wind down. I want to thank both of you so much for coming on. And this has been a brilliant show, as usual. Last week, we had a great self with Jen. Remember that, Julie? And this week is another wonderful guest who's been open and honest and has grown because of it. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Julie and Donna. And go get Julie's book, online if you would like it. Signs and Symbols, Julie Loar. Donna, thank you so much. Love you, Ladybug. And let's see. Tomorrow is Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works It. And we're of different generations, and we talk about love, romance, and being single. And the topic tomorrow is, why do opposites attract? So if you want to come and be part of that show, please do. Free subscribe on my YouTube channel. You'll get an alert every 8 a.m. weekday mornings. As well, Friday is Fired Up Friday with co-host Cynthia Kahi, and that'll be very fun. Any last word? I didn't get the minute yet from Polly. So any last word from you, Julie?
I would encourage people to, as you say, act on your own behalf. I love that. That's such a wonderful phrase. And realize the priceless gift that's available from our own self, our own psyche, what resides within us in eternity, the ability, and grant yourself a little bit of time. And
I'm going to have to cut you off because we are out of time. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room during the pandemic, wishing you the best day ever.